Hi there, I'm Teresa Dufour and you're watching Connecticut Style. We have a very special show in store for you today. Memorial Day is a time to honor the men and women who died serving our country. So we'll meet several veterans and hear their personal stories today. We'll also tell you about the upcoming Dancing with Our Heroes competition, where veterans pair up to perform with professional dancers. Now, to all to raise money to build a Fisher House right here in Connecticut. The Fisher House is a comfortable place for veterans and their families to stay while getting the medical care they need. And no one knows that better than wounded vet Micah Welintukonis and his wife Camilla. We're going to hear their story. They stayed in one during her husband's recovery. We're going to learn all those details today. Plus, veteran Gerard Curran is in the kitchen with his dance partner Vera Lyhusen. They are cooking up a tasty quinoa salad. They're also going to perform a dance later on for us. But before we begin, what better way to kick off the show than with the national anthem? Joining me now is U.S. Navy veteran Christine Smith. Christine, thank you for being here on Style.
Thank you for having me.
How long were you in the Navy?
I was it for 6 years.
You were, and what was your job there?
Well, I was called a data processor in the Navy, but in the civilian world, that would be a computer operator. And I did that for 6 years.
You did, and you're still very active with veteran organizations.
Very much so. I'm a member of the VFW Ladies Auxiliary, which basically does a lot of community service as well as raising funds for veterans issues. One of
the biggest fundraisers, the biggest events?
Yeah, the biggest fundraisers that we do is mostly for veterans. We have our own national military service where we send packages to the troops, we send them phone cards. One of the other aspects of it is we just do general support, and one of the things we do raise money for is the Fisher House, and that was our president's special project this year, which was to raise money for the Fisher House.
Sure, and you served overseas, correct?
No, I did not. No, my husband did. That's how I got my eligibility to be a VFW Ladies Auxiliary member. My husband did serve overseas. He's got 5 eligibilities for the VFW.
I see.
And I've just been part of this organization for about 20 years. Well, my husband was involved with it, and just for the past, I'd say 5 years, I've been really, very, very active at all levels of the VFW and the auxiliary.
Very good, and you have quite the singing talent. When did this happen? Your whole life?
Yes, basically.
You have been singing?
My dad was a singer. He was one of those doo-wop singers back in the 50s and 60s. He taught music, and he basically played a lot of different instruments, and he encouraged that with me and my sisters. So.
And you inherited a little bit of it, right?
A little bit, tad.
All right, well, we're going to let you sing the Star Spangled Banner. Christine, take it away.
Thank you. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
On July 9th, 2012, Micah Welintukonis' life was changed forever. The Army paramedic was stationed in Afghanistan when he found himself in the path of a suicide bomber. After 2 weeks in a coma and a long road to recovery, Micah has made leaps and bounds, and he joins us now on Connecticut Style with his wife, Camilla. Thank you so much for being here, both of you. Micah, let's start with you. Take us back to the day when your injuries happened.
It was a pretty chaotic day. We lived with the Afghan police, and a motorcycle bomb went off, it was against the security wall, and the Taliban gained entry through there, and then gunfire pretty much erupted. We had another visiting team, and they were cut off on the other side of the compound. So shot, just a grazing wound in my arm, and then there were unknown injuries, so 5 of us went to go on the other side of the compound, and as we're going up a stairwell, one of the guys self-detated.
Did you see it? Like, did you know this was going to happen? Do you have any idea?
There's about a minute and a half, I'd say 2 minutes blackout.
Yeah.
Last thing I remember was heading up the stairwell yelling for Americans, because I wanted to let them know that, hey, we're coming. Because you don't want to just barge into a room and then you get shot yourself. And
we actually have some pictures from the stairwell in Afghanistan where this all happened. And are those bullets, or is that shrapnel? What are the holes we're looking at?
The holes are from shrapnel.
And you were going up that staircase, right, when it happened?
Yeah, the suicide bomber was closer to the wall from what I've been told, and I was just to the right of him.
And Micah, your rescue was captured on camera by National Geographic, so we actually have a picture of that as well. Were you conscious during this? Did you know what was happening, or?
Yeah, there was the minute and a half
Right.
Gap, and then I can remember afterwards, like I remember, actually open up my own door, getting out of the vehicle, getting onto the litter, and then there was some confusion because people were like, well, you're unconscious, and I'm like,
No, I'm not, right?
no, I wasn't, and thankfully National Geographic, there it is on the film.
Had it all captured, right? Talk to me about your injuries. They were pretty extensive.
Some of them are actually like unknown, so my knee still gives me issues. I don't know what's going on. My knee doctor can't give me an MRI for that. With my back as well. My left arm took a bunch of shrapnel. I still have over 2 dozen pieces in it. I got nerve damage, and then I lost about 30 degrees range of extension, so I can't bring it out all the way, and then some inflection, mild TBI, pulmonary embolisms, and then as we were going through our paperwork, we found out I had actually had to be resuscitated twice. Really?
Wow. At least you're here though with us today, right? It could have been a lot worse. Camilla, talk to me about when you got the phone call that there were such dramatic injuries.
Well, the phone call came to me at just a little after 10 o'clock at night, and it was an 800 number. I almost did not answer it, thinking it was a telemarketer. So I finally decided I'll answer it. Sometimes Micah would call from 800 numbers, a calling card. So I answered, and the person completely, butchered my name. So I said, "Oh, you have the wrong number." I went to hang up, and they said, "Wait, no, hold on, ma'am. This is the U.S. Army. Do you have a husband currently deployed to Afghanistan?"
Did your heart drop at that point?
Yes. So then I, sat bolt upright in bed, and proceeded to hear him tell me the different levels of injuries and how they classify them, and my husband being the worst, and that they would keep me posted, and I'd be hearing from the next place that he'd be transferred to. I would be hearing from them shortly. So that was.
And your mom,
that was
you
it.
had kids at home. You were pregnant when this was happening.
Correct. Yes.
And what did you tell your kids?
So I waited till the morning, and I let them know that Dad has been hurt. We're not sure how it's going to turn out and when we'll be able to see him, but we're going to, just keep waiting for the phone calls and find out from there.
And you had the opportunity to take advantage of a Fisher House. How did you end up there?
Absolutely. Well, I ended up at the Fisher House at Walter Reed Military Hospital in Bethesda, which is where Micah was transferred. And when I got there to the hospital to see Micah, they do have lots of representatives that help you out. And one of them informed me about the Fisher House and said that, you know, I could certainly stay there. So they walked me over and got me set up, and the rest was history. I stayed there for a little over 2 months.
Really?
Yes.
And how important was it as a resource for you?
It was amazing because of the other families staying there, the whole camaraderie, you know, just having the people to talk to that are going through a similar situation, having a beautiful home to stay in. I mean, these homes are state of the art. I would call it a mansion, definitely. They just make you feel so at home, so comfortable, and it's just nice to have
And it's
that.
free of charge also,
It's
which
free of
really
charge.
takes a
It
big
saved
burden off of everything.
Thousands of dollars, and they even allowed for, you know, my mother to come stay, and a few of Micah's close friends.
Great.
So it helped.
You've been through a lot as a couple, obviously. Would you say that it kind of brought you together, your whole family?
Definitely, you know, you learn a lot more about each other, that's
do,
for
right?
sure. You know, the
Yeah,
stress.
I mean, it's, you know, just, you know, you go from a healthy 185-pound male to, you know, 130 pounds, you know, your bell is rung, you're drugged up, you're in a coma for 2 weeks, you know, and then there's been difficulties, you know, but
and me having to take care of him, I think.
Sure, right?
Because he
You're not
likes
used
to
to
be.
that.
And Micah is, as you know, he's a paramedic on the civilian side and a combat medic. So it's in his nature to want to, you know, help and take care. And
The roles had to
yes,
be reversed,
so,
right?
Right. So he had to take it from me.
And Micah, you're going to be dancing this year. How exciting! Are you looking forward to it? Have you been practicing?
I've gone to a couple lessons.
Yeah, a couple, huh? You have a big night ahead of you.
Yeah, I actually had to cancel yesterday's appointment. I was kind of under the weather.
Well, I'm sure you'll have time to make it up and show us
Yeah.
your moves. All right, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. To learn more about the efforts to build a Fisher House in Connecticut, you can visit fisherhousect.org. And still to come, we are heading over into the kitchen to make some quinoa salad, perfect for your Memorial Day picnic. That's when Style returns. We'll be right back. Looking for a delicious yet healthy dish to serve at your Memorial Day picnic? A couscous salad might be the perfect choice. The light and fresh ingredients will tempt your taste buds with the flavors of spring. Joining me now in the kitchen are our guest chefs for the day, veteran Gerard Curran and his dance partner Vera Lyhausen. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So before we get cooking for our Memorial Day picnic, we have to talk about last year's Dancing with Our Heroes competition because you guys got a perfect score.
Yes.
That is really hard to do.
Yes.
Talk to me about the routine you did.
We did a foxtrot routine. Gerard came to lessons to our studio, and we did about 27 lessons together. And he went from really non-dancing, never danced a step before,
Correct.
to performing an awesome routine.
Look at you guys here. I mean,
Thank you.
awesome.
Yeah.
It had to be flawless if it came. What did the judges say?
They were very generous.
But what's great, Doctor, you're continuing with the lessons.
Yes, I am. I'm actually going to be going to a lesson after this with my wife.
Ah, good for you. So you kept with it.
Yes, I did.
Good to hear. All right, so we're making a couscous recipe,
Yes.
Vera, that you think is probably something good for a Memorial Day picnic, right?
Right. It's awesome just to, throw it together very quick. If you are invited to a picnic, to a barbecue, you just take it with you. And my kids actually love to eat it, so I like it most because of that.
Very good. Well, how do we get started?
Yeah, right. So we're just going to cook the couscous with just in boiling water with salt and olive oil. And just waiting for it to cook here. Just stir the couscous in. And let me take this one here.
Doctor, you're a big chef, aren't you? You do a lot of cooking.
No, I don't. Thank you.
Well, you were saying how your wife was going to be surprised, right?
Yes, my wife is a great cook. She's a super cook.
You not so much?
No, I'm more Campbell's soup and toast
okay.
and soft boiled eggs.
I'm with you. All right, so that's going to boil. And typically, how long does that take, Vera?
This just takes a few minutes, 5 minutes. We're just going to let it rest without the heat. So we're going to take it off the heat. I just have to boil it up a little bit more here right now.
But in the meantime, looks like we have some fresh veggies.
We
I'll
have
switch
to
spots with
slice
you.
this up a little bit here.
Okay.
Just want to take this off now. Just the off button. There we go. Good. So we're just gonna, if you help me a little bit, that would be awesome.
Sure, I could do
Just
that.
slice the tomatoes.
Well, we're
perhaps.
slicing tomatoes.
Right.
Doctor, tell us about your military career because we have some pictures.
Sure.
When did it start?